Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to contain my first few clears of Surtr's Devouring Flame on the Master difficulty. This is our latest quest in the Rise of the Sinister Dominion, and it released just a couple days ago this past Friday, and I've had a lot of fun checking it out so far. In this quest on the Master difficulty, you're going to use a water element team for the first phase, and when Surtr switches elements for the second phase, then you're going to use a shadow team. So of course I've tried my best here to play with a theme team for fun and a little bit more challenge. So in the first phase of these clears, I'll be using Team Dragalia or Team Winter, and in the second phase I am using Team Summer, consisting of only Summer alts and in the first phase Dragalia alts respectively. So that was my scheme for taking this on. Certainly not the most ideal units for this content, but they were able to get the job done nevertheless. And right off the bat, you notice we're not really dealing any damage to Surtr, and that's because of one of his major mechanics, which is called Daystar Restoration. At the beginning of the fight in the Master difficulty, Surtr puts up this barrier, which can only be depleted using standard attacks. 4 strikes and skills are not going to work on it, so adventurers like Gala Elisanne, Tiki, Yoshitsune, or Sharpshooter Cerise that do good standard attack damage are going to be the best options to quickly diminish it. However, even once it's diminished, you'll see that Surtr has some buffs up right now. That Daystar Restoration also gives Surtr some stacks of regen, and this is why we're not really depleting much of Surtr's HP. So you're going to want to dispel those, but you can only do so once that barrier is down, because while it's up, you can't hurt Surtr in any way. You can't afflict him, you can't dispel, you can't debuff. So now that that's down, we can get to work dispelling. And with the regen gone, our damage is going to finally start breaking through. The other thing that Surtr has that makes him quite a tank is his Fiery Resistance ability. And you'll see there's a counter below his left and right arm gauge. That counter is going to deplete every time he's afflicted, but he can't be afflicted while he has the barrier up. So once it goes down, you're going to want to start afflicting him, and the counter, when it's set down to 0, you're back dealing normal damage. When it's above 0, you're doing reduced damage. So Surtr, it feels like the first part of the fight can go on quite a while, and granted, stronger teams might be able to shred through it a little bit more quickly. Maybe there are some strategies in co-op to get through this faster. For my team here, which was definitely underpowered against Curse of Nihility, well, it took me a while to get that affliction gauge down, and now at this point, finally, we're actually dealing real damage. The other central mechanic to Surtr's fight are the crystals. You saw one of them there. Obviously, that wasn't great on my part, didn't get back to the center in time. But those crystals are placed at various points in the arena. Sometimes you even control where they're placed, and you need to hide behind them to avoid certain attacks, but depending on the crystal type, they're going to react in different ways. So you see these crystals that are on fire, well, they actually explode after a while, so you want to be away from those when they're going to explode. They just did it then. And there are also rock-type crystals, which can get reduced when they're hit by attacks, and you have to kind of be on the lookout. You can use them to block certain attacks, but not multiple. So it's a very interesting fight mechanically. It leans on the defensive side. Of course, if you have Gala Elisanne, she's been extremely popular for autoing this, including through the Master difficulty. So she is a standout mainly because of that flame resistance, I would say, that's so hard to replace. This is one of the harder patterns to dodge, in my opinion. I go up here, and the one on the left detonated first there, I think because it got hit. So I should have been a little bit closer to the left, but not so close that I exploded. I wasn't quite able to get out of that purple in time. But granted, this was my first ever clear, and was just trying to make sure I survived. Now this one, let's see, it's the ring. You'll get a purple circle on you. You want to place it on a rock, and then you need to pay attention to what's happening. There, you saw some of the other rocks turn red. Well, that's a sign I want to stay away from those and stay behind my stone rock instead of a red crystal. If the other rocks had stayed the same color, I would actually need to go to those for protection. Now Surtr starts just chasing me down and bodying me, and it's not looking super great as far as my health. Luckily, I'm able to get back another heal in time. And here, this move, you need to stay behind a rock that is not a small one. It has to be sort of a two-hit rock, if you will. A stone rock that can take 2 hits, otherwise a second purple will kill you. Usually, at least so far, it's killed me every time. And then combustion happens here. This one is a move which pattern changes quickly. Tongue twister there, but the pattern changes quickly, as you can see. You have to move to the red squares to be safe. As we get our second demolish, and we're whittling down Surtr's HP here, but I believe if this is my first run, something bad happened toward the end here, which we'll see in just a moment, I think. So yes, unfortunately my DPS was so low that Surtr used his Blazing Resistance again, which applied Daystar Restoration, meant he started healing, but luckily you have 7 seconds between heal ticks, and I guess my Frostbite whittled him down fast enough that I got the party switch. If you get locked into that Daystar Restoration again, you're going to be stuck there for quite a while. So this was the first time I saw Phase 2. It seemed mechanically similar at the start, at least. Again, Surtr has a barrier that we're just going to have to attack to diminish. At the time, going to be honest, I didn't realize that skills were not depleting the barrier, so that's why I'm using some skills. They actually damage me instead of hurting Surtr, so that's not a great thing to use. And this was the first time I was seeing these moves too here. So for that one, you just need to place a purple circle onto one of those rocks, and the one you place it on, that quadrant will be safe. For that lava wave, it might not be the best time to be using skills, especially if they have longer animations, because you need to quickly move in and out of the lanes. We are able to get rid of Surtr's barrier, but he still has the regen buffs, unfortunately, and I chose some skills that, well, they don't charge that fast for Dispel, and at the time I think I may not have realized that, oh, Surtr's still regenning, so even though I'm dealing good damage on break, like, this is not ultimately very effective to my strategy. Probably should have just kept attacking to charge up my final 2 skills, since unfortunately there are no summer adventurers in my collection in the Shadow Element who have Dispel, so that had to completely be provided by shared skills for me here. So yeah, was just kind of whittling away, not realizing what I had wrought. The flames turn golden there, and you see the other ones lit up and turned red, so I want to actually stay in that quadrant. If the other ones had not lit up, I would actually want to go back toward them to avoid a double purple attack. We get this flame ball that turns into a flame field. I like to sort of just place that toward the wall, although leading with the dagger, you know, not ideal to be running away from the boss that much compared to when I was leading with my healer. And Surtr still has regen, but I guess we're able to just kind of truck through and overpower some of this regen, which, you know, looking back on it, probably not the most optimal thing to do here. But we're safe, we're alive, we're just attacking and attacking. Our time limit obviously not looking super great. Conflagrant Quartz happens, and I didn't comment much on this one with the cone attack, but you want to hide behind the regular stones because the red ones will explode when they're hit by the purple cone, and then you'll likely take some damage unless you're really hiding far away. Corroding Blight takes place. I decided to drag in just because why not? Just totally oblivious to the regen stack that's still happening. And then we get Sea of Flames, where if it's a red stone, you want to go far away and then come in. If it's a brown or gray stone, I guess, you want to stay close to it and then hide behind it to avoid a purple. So anyway, Surtr starts just walking around, chilling. I'm hoping that I can break him. I finally dispelled, finally, after all that time. And here I thought, okay, this is the move I'm not good at dodging. Let's just break Surtr, let's cancel it, we might kill him. And lo and behold, you actually can't break cancel that move. So this was my first clear of Surtr on the Master difficulty. Obviously tragic end. Mim in shambles right now, Summer Yuden destroyed, the party is over. But yeah, I thought Arsene would be able to break cancel that. The devs have moved away from break canceling. It seems like so many of these foes lately have like these elaborate moves that you can't break them to interrupt, so I guess you can't break cancel that one either. And unfortunately, Arsene didn't do quite enough to actually get the KO. And, well, I didn't learn my lesson very well, because here is my second clear. And this one is even less excusable because, well, Surtr's obviously not very close to breaking. And what happened? I got locked into skill animation. I tried to Dragon to salvage. I thought I would have had enough time to hide behind that rock, but I didn't. And so yeah, my second clear went very similarly to my first, where everybody survived except for Summer Prince. So this wasn't a great outcome. I think after this, I started to feel like, okay, I just really need to not be greedy when I go in for my Deathless and hopefully my last clear of the week so I can finish my weekly bonuses. So I tried one more time with Team Winter and Team Summer, and this was the one that ended up being my first Deathless. Played it safe all the way through. We'll watch through one more time and just comment on the mechanics here a little bit more slowly. Looks like Surtr starts out with Corroding Blight, which causes Creeping Corrosion and Curse of Nihility, then that Blazing Resistance, which gives him the Daystar Restoration stacks and gives him that shield there. You see next up we have our Cone attack here, where I recommend hiding behind these gray stones as opposed to the red flaming ones, so it's a little bit easier. Stunning Wildfire, I guess that's the name of this move, where this orb comes out, and if you try place it away from the wall like that, it shoots out a field wherever it's placed. So you can make it so that it doesn't interrupt your AI. Then that purple attack, a Fist Slam, and Fiery Whirlwind attack, Fire Spin I guess. Scorching Shield, which ups the fiery resistance stacks on Surtr. Blistering Nothingness, which gave us Curse of Nihility, and we actually don't have Corrosion right now. Followed by a purple AoE, a purple Chop, and then a red Cross Chop. And now we're Dispelling. Conflagrant Quartz happens. Conflagrant Quartz, you have the cone, so I want to go toward these stones over here, hide behind them, and might throw some presents while I'm at it. That finishes, and Stunning Wildfire follows up, where I try go toward a wall, but I used Lapis's shared skill, so that wasn't super smart of me. And then purple Fireballs get sent out. We still don't have Corrosion, interestingly, as you sort of pay attention here, which gives you a sense that the healing requirements are not super high for something like this. Alright, another purple Fireball attack. We get Blistering Nothingness for Nihility, and then a purple AoE. I'm just throwing presents, I'm charging. A purple Cross Chop into a red Cross Chop. And we still haven't afflicted Surtr all the way to be dealing real damage. Conflagrant Quartz happens again, so I'm gonna try to put this cone over here if I can get over there. And then the other one down here. It seems like the gray stones are always adjacent to each other. Stunning Wildfire, again, going toward the wall. And this time I placed it more successfully as to not interrupt anybody on my team. If you're trying to place that with melee, I feel like it's kind of hard to get away from it, and it can stun you. So Dragalia Lily has dual res, so I'm not really worried about it, but you'll notice through various times in this fight, like random team members of mine being burnt. There's both burn and stun in this, so that is a consideration, but the burn is not super lethal. Blistering Nothingness happens again to reapply Nihility, and now we finally get some Corroding Blight, so now we have Corrosion to concern ourselves with as Sea of Flames begins. Since it's a red crystal, I want to stand far away from it while it explodes, but then I want to be able to get back into the center quickly enough because the red crystal always seems to be followed by the purple circle. Then I get another one of these, place it over there, and now I'm going to get 2 red crystals that land on me, blooming crystals as they were. Just place them over here somewhere. I take some damage, not great, but I have enough healing, I think I'll be fine. These 2 red AoEs, it seems like you can just kind of roll through them, despite being sort of a screen wide, but then you get Blistering Nothingness into a purple AoE, and let's see what Surtr follows it up with. Purple Cross Chop into a red one. Yeah, so that's the segment where I found the healing check can often feel a little bit tight. We have to avoid these purple circles, but they won't spawn a blooming crystal, and whenever those finish, we get the 4 huge purple circles you have to go inward for. So be careful about being in skill animation during that. Now, Crystal Firestorm is the one I'm still not good at dodging. That one on the left is going to explode because it got hit by the purple, but I just wasn't quite placed right to both dodge the first hit as well as roll over in time to dodge the second hit. But as long as you're not getting hit by multiple, you can probably sort of tank and power your way through. So that's what I did. Now, sweltering crystals. Alright, so for this one, we have these gray rocks. I'm going to place a purple here. That one becomes a small rock, but it's okay because the other ones are red, so I actually want to stay in that quadrant where I have a grayish rock. And we've broken both of the arms. Now here, I decided to try avoid the fate that I faced the first time. I decided whenever I get my dragon, I better just dragon. Although, in retrospect, dragoning with my one frostbite enabler, while Surtr still hasn't been afflicted all the way, probably not the best idea. Now that was actually a mistake on my part. So 3 of those rocks, those gray rocks, were small. One of them was actually large, and that was the one I needed to hide behind because that one could tank 2 hits of purple. So that was a mistake, but one that I could tank my way through. Combustion happens. So this is the one where you have to dodge every which way here and roll, be ready, so don't lock yourself into a skill animation on the red before it rolls away or moves away. Now we get some purple chasers on ourselves that we can actually just dodge. And finally we got to the transformation, so better progress this time, not having Surtr start Daystar Restoration again, which would have been really bad for us. I don't think I had still learned at this point that Blazing Resistance can't be diminished by skills or Force Strikes, so yeah, I was using those here, just dealing damage to myself inadvertently, when I really should have just been using basic attacks for this part, so that's my mistake. But I did sort of know it was coming here, so I wanted to place that on that orb. Luckily it still counted and still broke. I don't know if it's because I shapeshifted or why, but I kind of placed it wrong there. And being a dragon here definitely gave me a little bit of mobility and quickness to be able to easily avoid those lava waves. I think I've gotten hit by them before, and it is possible to tank them, but it's definitely risky. There you see sort of one of the cons of being a dagger, as, well, I can't really place that super well without just taking aggro completely off. This time around, I think I've learned by this clear that I want to be using my Dispel and prioritizing that, but I am still using other skills, so I don't know if that's really the best strategy here. It doesn't seem like it. Certainly if you bring any adventurer like Joker with infinite Dispel, that's gonna make this better for you as far as not letting Surtr heal. I was a little bit worried about my break timing, that maybe all 4 quadrants were gonna turn purple here, but fortunately Surtr still gave me this purple orb, which that time I tried to place right on there, and it seems like it broke sort of after the fact. So maybe I have it wrong that you don't need to necessarily place it on there, but yeah, I did. And now for this attack, let's see what happens. We get a purple, so I wanted to place it there. I guess it still counted, but notice how none of the other ones changed red. That means that all the other ones are safe, and the one that I diminished and made small is actually not safe. So that's the other kind of scenario that can happen there. Again, not really good placement, but we're sort of fine. We're in control here as long as I don't make a mistake. Blistering nothingness is happening. Not a lot of corrosion actually happening in this fight either, which I think is kind of interesting to note. We get some more cross chops now that Surtr's arms are gone. Seems like both of those are red, so that seems like one of the change you get by demolishing Surtr's parts. I definitely don't want to backflip into one of those, but I do think Yuden would be able to tank it probably. Conflagrant Quartz. So this is our classic cone attack. Just go back here, no reason to risk it even though I'm not getting any damage in on the boss. And we come in. And the rest is pretty standard fare. So I think this is a super interesting fight. There's obviously ways to auto it. It's good for some of the newer adventurers like Regina, like Sandolphin that have access to multiple afflictions to tick down fiery resistance more quickly. Daystar Restoration favors standard attack, which is something we haven't really seen before. Overall, I have to say I really enjoy Surtr. The mechanics feel splashy, they feel significant. There's a visual flair to him. So I had a lot of fun with this one. Let me know what you think about Surtr in the comments below, but that is going to do it for today's video, everyone. So thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.